Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another show. Jim Hall, You Ought to Know, along with one of my little monsters right here. Caden's back with us, and we're at Knott's Berry Farm. Or is that Knott's Scary Farm? Well, you'll never know. But on this show, you will find out. In fact, we're going to find out what it takes to be one of the ghouly monsters, a little bit about the mazes right here at Knott's Scary Farm. Are you scared already? That's too early for that. Stay with us, everybody. It's going to be a great show right here from Knott's Berry Farm, which is going to be transformed into Knott's Scary Farm. Simply because, like with all of our shows, don't get too scared, because you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, You Ought to Know. And I told you we're here in Buena Park, California. We're here at Knott's Berry Farm, which is being transformed into
Knott's Halloween Haunt, Knott's Scary Farm.
Well, it's all here. Let's introduce you.
I'm Jeff Tucker.
And Jeff, you are?
I'm the scare coach. I'm the guy who trains all the monsters how to be scary and how to make people scream.
That's right, because this particular show, there's no monsters that we're going to see in full costume tonight, but we are going to talk about how they get trained.
That's right. We're talking about how they come here a week before the event opens. We run them through their paces. We run them through their mazes so that when they show up on opening night, put all their makeup on, all their costumes and all their gore, that it's not a complete surprise and they know what's expected of them.
All right, and let's introduce you.
I'm Craig Harrell.
And Craig, you do what?
I'm one of the scare coaches, and I also manage all the street talent.
All right, now let's talk about the difference in that, because what is your style when you're coaching somebody on how to be the perfect monster or a maze person here?
Well, mazes and streets, everyone's going to be a monster, obviously. Streets have a little bit more freedom and flow of how they work because they have a larger area. Mazes, they're particular areas. They're a theme and a theme room. Streets, like Ghost Town, they're all Ghost Town street monsters of some sort. So we work in a different kind of capacity of a scare. In a maze, it depends on what the character is. It just depends on what they've been assigned to. So whatever that is, we will take that and we'll work with them individually.
And what about you? When you work with people, how are you coaching them to do what you're expecting them to do out there?
Well, it's interesting because what we do is we have to get them out of that mindset of what they've learned their whole lives, and that's to jump out and say boo and I'm going to get you. And we get them to look around the room, look at their costume. What are they? What kind of monster? What kind of victim? And each room, each maze is tailored a certain way so that you get a much more sophisticated brand of fear, because audiences today, they know it. They've seen it all. The Saw movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, they've seen it all. They've seen people eviscerated and torn apart. So if you want to scare someone in a real-life situation, you got to give them all the tools. You got to give them a themed maze, a good soundtrack, a good costume, and good skills on what makes people nervous and how to get them scared, how to get them from entering the room and getting out of the room so that you can get that next set of people in.
Well, and how do we do that? How do we get them scared? What do you come up with to keep it creative and new?
We got energy. You got to have energy to do this. You can't be shy. There are no shy people in mazes. We want people that can break out of that shell, scream, yell, be the zombie, be the baby in the baby room, whatever that character is. You gotta get it to them and say, this is what we want. A lot of these people are veterans. A lot of these people come in here year after year and they come back to the maze. Now this is a brand new maze, so tonight everyone coming in here, it's a brand new character. So they don't know what to expect. So we're going to go room by room, talk about their character, give them the motivation, give them some things and some tips and some work, and then we're going to go away. We're going to come back through, and then we're going to run it, and then they're going to do the action. They're going to do motion. If it's not what we want, we're going to stop. We're going to work with them. This is how it works. Each room is a different character. Everyone's different. So in this maze, it's new for us because we haven't worked with them. So, and we have a lot of new people tonight. So it's motivation, and we've got to be the motivators to keep the energy up, and not from day one, but through the last day.
All right, give me some of the do's and don'ts that you tell these people how to do this. I don't know how to do it. You're going to train me.
Sure.
What's a do? What's a don't?
The do is look around. What is the room about? This is fallout shelter we're in. So the people that are in here, they've been buried down here for 50, 60 years, haven't seen the light of day. So you're not going to any current pop culture references. Everything is old school, old style. Okay. And the main thing we teach them not to do is to rely on those old, tired ways of scaring people. It's funny, we tell people, the first thing we tell them is, stop growling, because everybody's idea of scary is snorting and growling. It's a monster. It's a... That's great if you're a monster. If you're a werewolf, great. We don't do werewolves. We haven't done that in years. So we want sophisticated... the mazes, the rooms in the mazes should be each one compelling. You walk in, you should instantly get the vibe of what that room is. So we tell them, look around. Think about when you tried on your costume back at wardrobe. What did it look like? Was it a certain way? Was it torn a certain way? Does that affect the way your character moves? Are you injured on your arm or your leg? Do you have a head wound? It's all about paying attention to the details, because the audiences certainly will. Yeah. So if the monsters are paying attention and selling it, that's where you get your scares from.
Well, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. When you're selling that thing out there, have you guys been involved in the casting of these people in this certain, what they're going to be?
Well, for streets, we audition. We audition everybody. Okay. Because that's the first thing that everybody sees when they come in the park. It's the street monsters. So we cast them. For mazes, we don't necessarily cast. It's an interview process, and we place them. Coming in tonight, we have new people. We don't know who they are. That's our job to teach them. We had a few last night that was in the clown maze and in the doll factory that just was clueless. But by the time we got done with them, they got it. They knew how to be the doll. They knew how to be that scary thing that it's all about breaking them out of that shell, getting the deer out of the headlights, and giving them the tools that they need.
What's one of the words I don't want to use? Give me real quick.
Boo.
Don't say boo.
Don't say boo.
All right.
No.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And what?
And snarl.
No snarls, no growls, no boos, everybody. Right. We're here at Knott's Halloween Haunt. Scary Farm is where we are in Buena Park, and we're going to be back with more simply because, like it says right here, boo, you ought to know. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, and we're here. I told you we're in Buena Park, California, at Knott's Berry Farm, which is always transformed into Knott's Halloween Haunt or Knott's Scary Farm. And introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Daniel Miller.
And Daniel, your job here is?
I'm an entertainment design specialist.
Yeah, now that's important because there's a lot of designing that goes in, a lot of new mazes this year, right? How many new mazes?
Correct. There's 3 new mazes.
All right, now we're standing kind of in front of one here.
Yes,
what is this designed to be?
This is the Fallout Shelter, and it's designed to be 1950s Fallout Shelter based off of sort of like a toxic waste pit that's kind of sealed off from the 1950s on and opened up now for Halloween.
Well, being a kid that grew up in the early or the late 50s, early 60s, I remember the school drills and everybody was digging bomb shelters in their backyard and that sort of thing, and this is a fallout shelter. We got the staff back here. Take a look, Joe. The crew's back here, and they're not costume because they're in training, and as we're talking with you, the mazes are getting ready to go. Right. But tell me about this. This is a three-dimensional maze?
It is a 3D maze. That means that they'll have different colors will pop out at you. So like reds will pop out and greens will recede.
I was trying to see how that was because in real life we're in 3D, but that whole thing has to be reflected, and you're saying in color.
Yes, it's all it's called chroma-depth technology, and warm colors come out and cooler colors recede. So when you put it onto a wall, you can put a background of blues and greens, and then the reds come out at you. So when you're looking at just like a flat surface, then the reds stand out more.
Now, how long have you been doing this sort of thing, designing these sort of things here?
Around 11 years.
So all here for Knotts?
All for Knotts. Yeah.
Okay, so most of the mazes we would have seen, if they've changed every few years, probably under your design.
Yeah, there's 3 different designers, so around a third of them, yeah.
Okay, 1/3 of those, that's not bad. But what goes into this process? Do you start thinking right away? Are you already thinking about mazes and the way they can be changed into other things?
Oh, definitely. We use, a lot of times we'll use the same footprints, and then we'll change around the walls because, like this facility, the lake, we call it, because it's right next to the lake, we have to keep the same type of plan, and then we switch around the walls a lot of times to accommodate a new feeling. Like last year, we had entrance over there, and then we just switched it out to right here, and it's a whole new different maze.
All right, so we've gone from over to on the east side here of the maze, but the walls have been transformed. Nobody would recognize this being.
It. We've completely switched out all the walls. Everything's totally different.
What is part of the consideration then when you're designing not only the building or the walls or how they're going to be and what they'll see in each room, but all the contour, the music that goes with it, the light, everything?
Yeah, we basically have a huge staff behind us that does, we do music cues, and we make lists of music. So each of the cues go into each part of the maze. Then we'll do a talent list with all the costumes, and we give those to our costume department. Then we have lighting, paint, and props. And all those each have a list, and they all come in. Right now, you're just almost seeing just carpentry and some paint. So.
Does it take a big, major budget to make these changes happen each time you change a maze? You have to start thinking about that, costuming and all that. So do we try and reuse or reinvent and use what we have? Or how do you do it?
Well, we recycle. We have 3 new mazes every year, typically, and we have 13 mazes. So we'll have each maze run the course of 3 to 4 years, typically. I mean, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. And we have to keep in mind to reuse a lot of the same walls and same effects. Some of the effects in here we're even recycling from like 2 mazes ago. In fact, we used the grudge heads from our Grudge 2 maze, which was I think around 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And we were using the exact same mechanics to use for the finale monster to move their heads, because there's 2 separate heads that move. You'll see that later.
Well, when you came 11 years ago, for instance, when you started, how many mazes were actually being done here?
Don't quote me on this, but I think it was around 9.
So we're up to 13 now. Yeah. So it's not we add 3 mazes every year. Next year there won't be 16. Yeah. It's that 3 of them get changed around, so there's a variety of happening.
And 2 years ago we did 6 new mazes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does change. We just had to change because of maybe just like the location has to change a little bit, or maybe new rides coming in. We can't go in that location, so we have to find a new location. Different things go to why we have to change out.
Well, the costuming, the changes in the mazes, the training of the personnel, a lot of people involved.
Correct. A lot of good people involved, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I do appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the mazes. Now, as these people are getting trained, this is scare school, as I'm told.
School, yes.
So they're learning what to do, how to do it, and you've done the touches here, and the mazes are going together, but we're getting ready. We'll be back when all this is in the fog and in the dark, and the monsters are out.
Correct, and it will be very impressive. It's actually pretty lucky to see in this point of view because it's unpainted. I mean, you're kind of going, how can they possibly do this? But in a week and a half, it's going to look gorgeous. It's going to look all done and finished and spooky and scary. So I invite you guys to come out and come see it.
All right, we're going to do just that. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We're going to talk to some of the trainers coming up simply because you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know it. Knott's Halloween Haunt here at Knott's Scary Farm, and we've got a couple of our actors. I'm going to say actors because they turn into monsters in just about a week from now, but let's introduce you first off.
My name is Joseph Hull, and I am talent number 23 in the Fallout Shelter Maze.
Talent number 23. It sounds like a prison scene.
I think we're more like butchers.
Butchers. You're okay. We're gonna get back to that. And you are.
My name is Todd McAllister. I am talent number 16, and I'm a private mutant.
All right. Well, that a little bit of diversity there. Now, you brand new to the business. Is that right?
That is correct. This is my first year here.
And tell me what that process, getting this position that you've got right now.
Well, one Sunday night, I decided to come out here because
No, I don't want to know about your prison record. Okay, one Sunday night.
one Sunday night I decided I'd come out here to Halloween Haunt to get an interview. So you had to get in line at 3 in the morning and stay in line until 7 or 8 in the morning, go in for an interview, and there you go.
What was the interview process like to do this?
It was pretty easy. It's just pretty much putting in an application and not having a criminal record.
Okay, so we touched on that a little bit. Now, have you been a fan of the haunt before?
I've never been to the Halloween Haunt yet. This is my first year.
From Southern California?
Yes, I am.
But you've never attended the haunt before?
That's correct.
All right, so let's go to you. How many years have you been?
This will be my 17th season.
17th season. So what characters have you done here at the haunt?
I've done everything from clowns to Ghost Town Streets, aliens last year. So many I can't really remember.
What's one of your favorite things that you have done?
I think it was that. Probably working in the Silver Bullet area on the streets.
Now, this year you're working in this particular maze. This is a new maze, right?
Correct.
So, did you pick to come here? Did they give you some choices? What'd that process be?
I picked to come here, yes. I worked here last year as Alien Maze, and a lot of the people we came back because we all kind of had a bond and became a family, and we all wanted to come back.
And when you get that bond going, do you keep a lot of friends for 17 years? That's a long time doing this, a lot of haunts. So what is that process like, keeping that friendship going? It's got to be kind of like family.
Yeah, mostly Facebook family, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Facebook. I can relate to that. Everybody on Facebook, they follow us here on our shows and what have you. You can do that. Oh, by the way, you can follow us on our internet site, www.odysseytv.com, right? Odyssey, you ought to know, or you ought to know TV.com. Go to that one, you ought to know TV.com. Now, as you got this job, when you applied for this, were you expecting what this is, or were you expecting something different?
When I first came in, I had no idea what to expect. And then I had friends tell me what the experience was like, and I knew I definitely wanted to do this.
All right, here they come. Bring them on through. You can hear all through, and they're getting worked up as they get ready for this haunt. Is it part of the process, getting that energy going?
Absolutely. This is where the energy comes from. Everyone's happy and ready to go.
Now, the trainers work with these guys out. What do you, as a veteran, tell him as somebody brand new? Do you get to communicate with him and tell him, look, you don't need to do that, do this?
I say just do a lot of watching and absorbing and do what these guys do because they know what they're doing.
What is something you don't want to do? Something to stay away from?
Just stay out of the people's faces because sometimes they will try to hit you just out of defense.
Uh-oh. So is that one of the rules? Don't touch the guest?
Yes, you do not want to
Do not touch the guest.
Do not touch.
What if the guests touch you?
Again, depends if it's by accident, you're really scared of them and it's
A little reactionary
it's
touch.
harmless. Yeah, then usually you let it slide, just walk it off. But if somebody really just comes up to you and clobbers you, yeah, you need to get a hold of security and they need
All
to
right, well, we've got some more coming through. Come on. We've got all the gals and guys and everybody getting ready. Now, in a week from now, you're going to be in full costume. What is that process like when you're getting costumed up?
You got to show up a little bit early. You have to go over to the warehouse. They have to you got to put it on. You got to come over here, get on your mask, get in your position, and be ready to go.
Ready to go. So how many rehearsals are you going to get?
Just one more after this.
One more walkthrough, and then you go to the dress rehearsal, or is that it?
No, just one more.
Dress rehearsal?
Correct.
So you'll be in the costume on the 23rd, and you go out that 24th. You do it one more time, right, on the 24th, and then opening night.
I don't know. The 23rd is our dress rehearsal, and then you're on.
And you're on. All right, so that's what it's all going to be about. Our place is obviously Buena Park, California. Everybody knows Knott's Berry Farm. And, in fact, if you've heard of Knott's Halloween Haunt, Knott's Scary Farm, you'll want to check it out because there's 27 great nights right here. And I want to ask you guys a couple things real quick. We got about a minute left. The costume that you're doing, describe that for me.
Khaki pants, a red, white, and blue shirt that has going to have a tear on both arms, on the chest, and on the back. So there's going to be like 3 or 4 different multiple scratches in each spot.
All right. Makeup for you and your costume?
No, I have army fatigues and a mask, but I haven't seen the mask, and I have some kind of weapon. That's
So
all.
the mask is a surprise to you at this point?
Yes, because it wasn't done yet, so they couldn't show it to me.
All right. So they're still in the process. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We're going to be right back. Sun's going down. You guys are all everybody's getting in shape out there. I hear them getting them revved up, ready to go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're ready too. We're going to be back to wrap this show up, but we're going to be back for Knott's Halloween Haunt right here at Knott's Scary Farm, simply because you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back to wrap it up. Well, it's going to put the wraps on another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, from the scariest place in the world. It's Knott's Halloween Haunt at Knott's Scary Farm, when this is all going to be transposed into the Halloween Haunt. And we invite you to bring your little monsters, just like I've got Connor right here with me. Caden opened the show. Connor's going to close the show. You ready? It's going to be fun for everybody right here at Knott's Scary Farm, Knott's Halloween Haunt. 27 big nights, everybody. A lot of ghouls, a lot of monsters, and a lot of fun, simply because, like with all of our shows, tell them, Connor, you ought to know. See you next time, everybody. Have fun at the haunt.